Farmers say we love the alcohol, la 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 la. Just line 'em up and we will drink them all, la 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 la. But my mother always said, if you want to drink all day, you best start in the morning, son, 'cause that's the Irish way. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, and every other mother will agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, so order up around for you and me. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, and every mother must agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, so order up around for you and me, and you and me, and you and me. Let there be whiskey.
Everybody, welcome once again to Nerds with Alcohol. I'm Russ.
And I'm Chris.
And this is take 2 of episode 271.
Yeah, you sounded better, although you blew your mic out when you did your hey.
I
forgot my light.
Blew my mic
There we go.
out a bit.
Now they can see me better.
So guys, yes, welcome again. We had some technical difficulties. Don't know why. I'm having some physical difficulties as usual. But I rebooted and hopefully that's going to help.
So far it is.
I did get like a brand new modem and, Xfinity, fancy schmancy.
Yeah, how dare you change anything?
I know, right? I tell you, I downloaded a game today. Ubisoft gave away a free game that's NO 1800. It's a strategy simulation, game and stuff. There was a 2070 and then a 2230, and so, but this is the first one that's gone backwards in time, and it downloaded like 40 gigs in like a couple of minutes. It was crazy fast. But because I could see it was getting up to 80, 85 megabytes per second, that kind of thing. I'm like, damn. So I don't know what the deal is, but fuck it, who cares? We're here, and it's Tuesday night.
It's Tuesday night. Let's talk some nerd shit.
Let's talk some nerdy shit. How was your week, brother?
It was pretty good. Busy. Curling season officially ended on Saturday. With the champagne spiel, where the seniors, or the curlers who have been curling for 6 or more years, play against the colts, who are the curlers who have been curling for 5 or less years. And they basically make up teams, and you play it's 4 end games, so it's only 4 times. It's about half a normal game. And you do that. There's 4 games going on at a time, and there's 3 draws. So 12 games total, and it's a cumulative score. So you add up the total score from all the teams.
Okay.
This is one of the closest years that I can remember. The seniors were actually sweating a little.
Okay.
We wound up winning by 17. So basically, this is the one where the losers actually buy the winner's champagne at the end.
Okay.
So, but outside of that, as Renee said, it's been a week. Because Wednesday and Thursday were a couple of really shitty days. Wound up spending a lot of time in the hospital. Not for me, but for Renee, with some emergency surgery.
Right.
And luckily she's good now. Could have been really serious. Well, was really serious. And not real happy with the ER, but her doctor did a great job, and so she's on the mend now. She's just she's kind of bored. Although luckily we got the PS5 at just the right time, because now she's off work and she can spend hours playing Horizon. So awesome. Yeah, so she's already way past me, because I haven't gotten a chance to play it. Basement Goblin. Yeah, she's basically sitting in the basement because it's the most comfortable place for her to sit. So she will be on our game.
Cold down there?
Yeah, she will be on our game on Friday. So I've been setting up the basement for the new cameras, or the new camera angles and everything like that. So we'll see how that works out Friday. I'm going to be trying to get them all hooked up by tomorrow so that I can play around with them and make sure that the angles are right and that they look good for Friday, and that, that it's going to work. So I'm not scrambling on Friday going, oh shit, I need to set everything up.
Well, I'm glad she's feeling better. I'm glad she's on the mend, because that was pretty scary.
Yeah.
And it's another one of those fucked up examples of our medical, the medical industry here in the United States, where they just don't listen to the patient.
Yep.
You know, they just don't. I mean, she was in a great deal of pain, but because she is a strong person, they didn't consider what she was saying. And I think, and sent her home.
Yep.
And that's bullshit, man.
Well, you're not in enough pain.
Yeah, you're not in enough pain. How you wouldn't be walking around if that was the case, you know, or whatever. You know what? Fuck off. You know, these people have different levels of pain. They deal with different levels of pain, and I think it's fucked that they were like, take a couple of Tylenol and go home. You'll be fine there, sweet cheeks. Some bullshit.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, we spent a lot of time Wednesday night in the ER. Got out of there about 12:30, and then she saw her doctor the following morning and was in surgery by 4:00.
Well, like I said, I'm glad she is feeling better. And we did have her on the show last night for Tavern Knights. Talked about it a little bit, and but it was more. We talked more about gaming, but like I said, it is something that was important that came up. So
yeah. She said they sent me a survey. They did. They sent her a survey on how on what her experience in the ER was.
God damn, dude, that's fucked up.
Yeah,
it's fucked up.
Yeah, she was upset that she only used 2,000 of the 8,000 characters that they let her use.
Oh, and so she gave them a piece of her mind, as well as a piece of her anatomy.
Yep.
Good, Renee. I'm glad that they need to know this shit.
Yep.
You know, they need to know this shit because it's a horse shit.
Yes, it is. So how about you? How was your week?
Trying to think. It was, just typical. We are, as I keep saying, we are amping up production pretty soon. We've gotten a lot of things. We're like ready to go. The only thing we got to do is call in the rest of the artists, and we have 2 designs that have been fully approved, and so I guess they're just waiting on that 3rd design.
Set up the art signal.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like basically cross paint brushes projected up on a cloud.
Yeah, and we're just ready to go. It's like we want to get going, but like I said, the management wants us to wait until we have a 3rd approved design for our 3rd, so that they can literally work on 3. We can work on 3 floats at the same time, and which we're going to have to do because we're making something like 6 to 8 new floats this year, which is 3 chassis each, and it's going to be big. So so we're just, it's just in the process of approvals, and people going, I like that one, I don't like that one, now they make these changes. So we are starting to work. We're working on getting started on stuff for the Indy 500. I may be out of town from like the Wednesday before Memorial Day all the way through Memorial Day, maybe in Indianapolis, because we have to take down these floats in parts and pieces and then assemble them.
Oh, I think you're gonna miss a Tavern Knights game then.
I might. I don't know. I'd have to look, but because that's the thing. They were like, "You're in for going down to Indianapolis," and I'm like, I guess, So I also got. We are more than likely going to be doing our murder mystery show again at the. Probably again near the end of May, but it depends on. We're still trying to hammer down dates and stuff, and I mean, I'm one of the main characters, so I mean, if I can't do it, if it conflicts with work, then we might have to push the date of that show. But there's other restaurant really wants us to kind of wants us to do it there. I can't talk too many details yet because we haven't solidified anything 100%, but it's looking good. And
Yeah, CD suggested that you could play over the internet.
Well, I guess that wouldn't be impossible because we have done that in the past.
Yeah, it's just a matter of how well your hotel internet would be.
Right, exactly. And whether whoever I'm going to be rooming with is going to be like going to fuck with me while I do it. I have to do it on my tablet. And
just like old times.
Yeah.
Back when you were in Florida, man.
I can be a pike. Yes. So there's that. I'm also trying to find a new doctor, personal care physician, but primary care physician, but just having a tough time. Like, I don't know. It's like, it's hard. You don't want to just like walk in and go, to any old place to find a doctor.
Will you be my doctor?
Yeah. You want to find out like what are their reviews or people like them and stuff. So I asked for suggestions on Facebook, and I had a bunch of friends who went, hey, my doctor's great. This doctor's fantastic. And I went to try and get an appointment with this one doctor, and they're like, yeah, we're not accepting new patients right now. I'm like, shit. I'm like, you had mentioned something about your doctor, but your doctor's all the way out like fucking Long Lake and
yeah, he's in Bloomfield Hills.
Bloomfield Hills, and I'd rather stay a little bit closer to home, within like 10 miles. Mm-hmm. So, but we'll see. I'll find something.
I mean, with 696 and Telegraph both move, so it's not too bad. But it is a hike. One of the reasons that I stayed with him was that he was only a mile from where I used to work.
Right.
Because I used to work at Square Lake and Telegraph. So.
But then his office moved and stuff.
No. He moved while I lived in Louisville, from right over there by you out to where he is now. But when I moved back, when I started working, my company actually moved to Square Lake and Telegraph, which is only 1 mile north of where his office is. So it was convenient that I could go there from work.
Right. Exactly. And yeah, and then of course, like I'm a little picky. I don't necessarily want a doctor that's like 20 years older than me. Mm-hmm. I'd like maybe if I'm going to have a doctor that's a little bit, that's on the older side, I wouldn't want him to be that much older than me because I'm 48. I don't want some guy that's 68 going to retire in a couple of years or retire now or ready to retire. And at the same time, I don't want a doctor that's 25 either.
Yeah, mine's right about my age.
Yeah, I don't want a doctor that could be my kid. It's just weird. So. I'm sure I'll find something. I just gotta do it. But other than that, just kind of getting ready, just getting ready to move forward on all of the work stuff. I attended my first staff meeting today. I was late. That was great.
Of course you were.
Well, I got into the studio and I'm looking around. I'm like, where is everybody? Not that we have a whole lot of people right now, but I'm like, maybe the boss wasn't Eric. The art director wasn't there yet. His car wasn't in the parking lot. So I'm like, where's Eric? All right. Well, and then I thought to myself, wait a minute. I think there's a staff meeting today. It couldn't be this early. It's only 10 o'clock. And yep, shit, 10:30. Sorry, I'm late, guys. And so it wasn't a big deal, but it was one of those things. I do have to buckle down on my start time at work right now, because it's a little loosey-goosey, but I do need to start getting there a bit earlier now. But we are. I am looking forward to game this Friday. And,
I am too. I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to. I'm not looking forward to the total party kill that we're going to experience and rolling out new characters. For those of you guys who didn't catch it or don't know about it, we are walking into. The start of the show will be the third round in a fight against a dragon. We are at about 50% of our spell slots and capabilities.
Well, I think you're less than 50% of spell slots.
Renee's
almost out of key points. You have one spell slot left. Bob, I think, has a few, but he doesn't use his spells.
He only said he only had like one left.
Oh, Octavian has some, and Euchariah has some, but I think they're both under 50%.
Yeah, and I blew my healing pool just because after I took that lightning bolt to the chest,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to heal up, and I didn't want Octavian blowing a spell slot yet, so yeah, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be tough. So we shall see. I think if at least one character doesn't go down, I'll be surprised.
Honestly, I will be too. This fight is with the
I don't mean necessarily go down permanent.
Right. I mean, have to make some death saves. I think one, maybe two, might have to do that in this fight. But I think that's where it's gonna. I think you guys will pull through.
I hope so, Mr. Dungeon Master. Because if I have to roll up a new paladin, I'm going to be pissed.
You guys got lots of money. You can get resurrections.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's painful.
Renee said it's going to be me. We all know this.
Oh man.
She has probably got the record for most times getting knocked out.
Pop. Yes. Yeah, well, it is true. The monks are up there, right close and personal, and I mean, Klimbrum's wisdom score is not the best. So definitely I keep saying we need to get something. We need to get some kind of tiara or something that will up her mental acuity, her wisdom, something. But
I'm book smart.
Yeah, because it's wisdom, isn't it? It's wisdom score that the monks go. Yeah, they get bonus.
Well, and she's the only one that's toe to toe with the dragon right now.
Well, I'm close, but yeah.
Yeah, but you're about halfway around the circle. She's actually right behind it.
Right, I'm close enough to get there.
On the next round, if it stays there, yeah. But remember, it's flying too.
Right. I was actually thinking, I was like, what if I spent a round casting and summoning Clamor and attacking from horseback? But I don't have any like any feats for that either though. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how much that would be beneficial. We'll see. It's gonna be an adventure, shall we say?
Well, that's good. So that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly. So, what are you drinking?
I am drinking something I've had for about a year or so. It's been sitting in the basement, aging. It is from Perrin Brewing Company, which is in somewhere over on the west side of the state, Comstock Park. So it's basically Kalamazoo. It is called Perrin Reserve. That's the bottle. It's a big old bomber bottle. It was one of the specialty beers I got. I got two of them. I had one a while back. This is a triple mash bourbon barrel aged chocolate raisin stout.
Okay.
It is 12.8% ABV. Let's see. This is the 2020 reserve, so this is probably a year and a half, 2 years old. I don't know if it's got a born on date or a bottled date, which it doesn't.
What did you say the ABV is?
12.8%.
Jesus Christ! Almost 13% alcohol in a beer. It's not beer anymore.
Yep. Perrin Brewing 2020 Reserve is a triple mashed Russian Imperial Stout aged in bourbon barrels. This beer was made with honey, caramelized lactose sugar, and aged on golden raisins to create a uniquely rich and flavorful celebration beer. So I have to say, it's heavy. It is dark, like a stout should be. Beer. It actually has a pretty good head on it. It's got some good cling, which tells me it's got some good body to it. The aroma is, you get the raisins on the aroma. Definitely probably the strongest thing that I get. Oh, hey, Ghost Hand.
Yeah, Ghost Hand. I was going to say, Ghost Hand just showed up. Nice to see a ghost.
And as far as the flavor goes, it's it may have mellowed because I've let it age, but it's actually kind of it's a sweet beer. You do get a lot of the raisin. There's a little bit of the chocolate, and it's got a little bit of that boozy warmth. But otherwise, it's actually kind of a smooth beer. For as high ABV as it is, it's actually really smooth and really tasty. It's the kind of thing I would sit and sip, for an evening. Just nothing crazy. So yeah. Oh damn, 12-hour shift. That sucks, Ghost Hand.
What the fuck, man? Why are you doing it 12 hours?
Yeah,
I can
nice
go for
cold
a nice
one.
cold one. Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
12-hour shifts. I mean,
I've
I
done
don't
them.
know what you do, but
I've done
damn.
them. I've done them in
yeah, me
IT.
too.
I've done them in IT, and I'll tell you what, that wears you down mentally. It's not a physical job, but damn, does it wear you down mentally.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah. So I'm gonna give this probably 3.75 to 4 bottle caps.
Okay.
So I mean, it's really good.
It's not, that's the thing, that kind of beer, it's just, I mean, it's almost like you need to set it in a separate category because it's a sipping beer. It's not like just something like,
It
like
is a specialty beer, and it is a unique thing. So yeah, but it's good. I like it. It is definitely a sipping beer. So family business, got to take care of the fort since Dad is watching over Grandpa.
Hey man, good on you.
Oh,
You're taking care of that.
Yeah. Good job, Ghost Hand.
Got to take care of that family.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm just drinking a caramel apple from Blake's. It's I got that variety pack from a couple weeks back, and it's just kind of picking at it. I got to say, every time I have this caramel apple, I like it a little bit more. Because
it's wearing you down.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's wearing me down. I remember saying it tastes the way people it tastes kind of like whoever made it said, I think this is what caramel tastes like, and then they put that in there, but I guess I don't know, I like it a little bit more every time.
Someone who's never had caramel said, "This is what I think caramel tastes like."
Somebody that's had caramel once.
It had that chemical flavor at the end, right? That's what caramel had.
Yeah, that's what it has. Yeah, but
Yeah, I wasn't crazy about those.
It's okay. It's not. I mean, like I said, it tastes very much like like somebody tasted caramel candy, not actual like caramel, but like caramel candy or some sort of flavored thing that's like, hey, this is supposed to taste like it, and then they put it in here with some apples, and it's okay.
Nice.
Sam's been trying out the double malts recently, and it's like a honey softness to it. That's cool.
That's cool. Lava flow from stem cider.
Oh, strawberry pineapple. Oh, that's an interesting flavor combination.
He said it's a not great strawberry pineapple.
Oh, not great strawberry pineapple. So that's the thing, because strawberry can be very sweet or can be very tart, depending on when you get the berries. And pineapple is almost always, in my opinion, almost always very sweet. So it's like two sweet notes together, Oh, who knows? Maybe. So that's the thing. Every time I go to the liquor store these days, I'm not seeing anything new cider-wise that's exciting me. Everything that I see that I haven't tried is like doesn't appeal to me. It's like, I don't know.
My problem with most of the pineapple ciders I've had is that they don't taste enough like pineapple. Because I love pineapple juice. Just pineapple juice by itself, sure. I could just drink all the time. It is super sweet and very acidic, and therefore not really good for you. But I just love it. But every time I get a pineapple cider, I'm hoping for that, and it's not nearly that flavor.
I don't know. The Rainbow Seeker from Blake's is pretty good.
Rainbow Seeker is good.
It's got that basil kind of.
Well, that's the thing is the basil kind of throws it off. It is still really good, but it's still not exactly what I want. I want cider that just tastes like pineapple juice, man. I will drink that all the time.
Fair enough. I think Ace makes one.
Yeah, I don't think I've had Aces.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up, see if I can find it. So yeah, that's about it. So what is going on in the wonderful world of
Well,
nerdity?
Gilbert Gottfried passed away.
Yeah, right.
That shocked me when Renee told me that today.
That was a drag. Yeah.
I guess it was a long time illness, though, they said.
Yeah. MS.
Oh, is that what it was?
Hmm. Yeah, he died from complications from MS, and I mean, MS hits different people different ways. I mean, you can get diagnosed with MS and be in a wheelchair in a year, or you can kind of you can soldier on and you might be walking with a
Well,
cane after 5 years.
I mean, Richard
There's
Pryor,
some
I mean, that was what he had, wasn't it? Was MS?
I'm not sure.
Because he wound up in a wheelchair and
He did. He was immobile or he got to the point where he couldn't speak anymore. But I had an ex-girlfriend whose mother had it and her grandmother had it, which was very rare. It usually doesn't go generation to generation. It usually skips. And
yeah, he did. He had MS.
but her mom was bedridden and her mother didn't take care of herself either, but her mom was in a wheelchair, then pretty much bedridden within 2 years. And then, but yet her grandmother was walking and never, I mean, you didn't really, I mean, she had some issues and problems, but it affects different people differently. I mean, like Selma Blair has it and she has had it for a number of years, been, fighting it and advocating against it or for it and stuff like that. And
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. She walks with a cane and she's pretty much retired from acting. So yeah, but Gilbert Gottfried, man, he was kind of an icon of our generation, a comedy icon of our generation.
Him and Rhonda were the USA Up All Night.
Oh my God, yeah, that's right, wasn't he?
It was him and Rhonda that did Up USA. He was either one or the other that you got.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing is that whole like that voice that he did, that screechy, that voice, that it was meant to be like an extreme parody on like the whole Jewish insult comic kind of thing.
Iago.
And
Iago.
Yeah, it was the voice he did for Iago in Aladdin.
Yep.
The thing about it is that wasn't his real. I mean, that was a bit he did, and I'd seen some.
But he always did it.
He always did it, but I did see some stand-up where he kind of got a little away from it. He would do some impressions. He did an amazing Jerry Seinfeld impression. So he always did that, but then sometimes his stand-up he would show that he could do he had other voices. He had other things he could do. He was the Aflac duck too.
Yeah. He was in Beverly Hills Cop.
He was in
Beverly Hills Cop 2. He was in 2. Beverly Hills Cop 2. He's an attorney. He's like, and Eddie Murphy comes in talking about parking tickets.
That's right.
If I put something in that hand, then this hand you'd be like, what is this? I got nothing here.
It was like if I had something in that, if I had like $200 in this hand, $200. Oh,
I'm ripping you off.
Yeah. He was the shock jock DJ in Adventures of Ford Fairlane.
Oh,
remember that?
Only vaguely. I mean, come on, let's face it. The Adventures of Ford Fairlane was Andrew Dice Clay's comedy act in movie form. It was just those same jokes.
It was. The thing is, though, it's kind of a cult classic. Like, and the soundtrack was considered a pretty good. Like, it's got a great soundtrack. In fact, "Rock the Cradle of Love" by Billy Idol was a huge hit. Like, he got MTV Music Awards for that. I think he like best. I don't know. I can remember. But
that movie was a gem.
It was.
Hey, come on! No, the best Andrew Dice Clay movie, Brain Smasher, a love story. You got to do the whole title, man. It's Brain Smasher, a love story.
Love story, yeah.
With Terry Hatcher.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right before she kind of hit real big. Like, she had done some smaller things, and then she did that, and then I didn't think she broke out. I think then she got a couple other movies, and then she got Lois and Clark, and that was what made people like her.
I remember being sick, and I was in my recliner, and I I was watching this. It was back when the guy they had the guide channel that would just go by, and I was watching that, and I'm like, I just wanted something on, and I'm like, wait, what the fuck? I saw the name, and I'm like,
yeah,
and it's Andrew Dice Clay and Terry Hatcher. Oh, I must watch this movie.
Yeah, you had to. Yeah, he was a bouncer. He was like the best bouncer in town or something like that. And they called him Brain Smasher because, I don't know.
He was being chased by ninjas.
Yeah.
We are not ninjas. We are Chinese monks.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Oh, man. Yeah, Vince Neil was in, it was not Motley Crue, but Vince Neil was in
Ford Fairlane.
And it had a lot of fucking people, bigger stars at the time. Robert Englund was in it. I can't remember the woman who was like the female lead. I'm blanking at the moment, but dude, it had a bunch of fucking big stars in it, and I actually have it. It came out when I was in high school, and it was supposed to be like this. It was supposed to be for Dice Clay's big like vehicle. It was supposed to be his vehicle into the big time, and but this was also Dice Clay was at the time one of the biggest comedians in the fucking world. I mean, he was selling out Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, and he couldn't do his act now.
No, not all of the well, the interesting thing is Dice Clay, if you actually listen to his stand-up, there was some real foul shit, and he would do all of the dirty limericks and
the dirty nursery rhymes, but yeah,
nursery rhymes and stuff. But if you actually got away from that, he had a decent stand-up act.
Yeah, well, it was just he would have to get away from all the misogynistic bullshit that he did in his show, because that was a lot of it, and the whole thing with the cigarette.
Yeah, well, it was a character. It was a character that he did, honestly, like he's had a few kind of things more recently. Like he had a show on, I think it was Showtime. It was called Dice, and it was kind of based loosely on his life and about how he'd become a professional gambler for a while, and he was living in Vegas, and he was trying to do both gamble and do comedy, and it was actually kind of pretty cool. And then he's had some other like guest starring things here and there. He was on I think the last season of Entourage. He had a recurring character as himself on Entourage. He most recently, I saw him as a mafioso movie producer that bankrolled. He played the guy that basically bankrolled the Pam and Tommy sex tape on the whole Pam and Tommy thing on Hulu. Which I've watched about half of them, and it's pretty fucking good. I don't know if we've discussed it. I think we talked about it. You
talked about it a little bit, yeah.
But I haven't I got to go back to watching it and finish it up. But it is solid. It's a solid show. I mean, there is a part where Tommy Lee talks to his own penis, and it answers him back, like talks to him. And so that's a little surreal, but it's a lot surreal, honestly. But the performances are really fucking amazing. Like the girl playing Pam Anderson just is nailing it, and it's really it's incredible, and some of the best prosthetic makeup I've ever seen.
So I just looked up Terry Hatcher because I had to know. Brain Smasher: A Love Story was a 1993 straight to video.
Right, which means they made it probably back in 1990.
That same year was All Tied Up, which also went straight to video. And then 93 is when Lois and Clark started.
Okay. So that's why those movies went direct to video, because she did them. They didn't get a release at the theater, and then she landed Lois on Lois and Clark. And so she's like, these movies can't go. They can't go to the theater. I wouldn't be surprised if if ABC or NBC or whatever the networks were probably like.
Well, that was a WB show, or I
don't think so.
Yeah, it was Smallville or Lois and Clark.
No.
Oh no, Lois and Clark was that might have been an ABC.
Well, ABC is Disney.
Well,
And
not
at that
yeah.
time,
At that
now,
time, that would have been right about when Disney bought them.
network.
She also did, while she was doing that, though, she did 2 Days in the Valley, which was I remember that movie.
Oh yeah, that was Charlize Theron's kind of big introduction to American audiences.
It was also what's his name?
ABC.
ABC. So yeah, I was right.
Clark was ABC.
James Spader was in.
James Spader was in that.
Yep.
That was 2 Days in the Valley was badass.
So 2 Days in the Valley, seeing James Spader in that is what made me think that he would be a good Edward for the Laurel K. Hamilton novels.
Yes, sure.
Seeing him in that absolutely made me think that he would be a good Edward. Holy shit, that movie had Jeff Daniels, Danny Aiello.
It was a fucking badass.
Keith Carradine, awesome. Eric Stoltz. Man, I haven't seen that movie in years. And then she, right after Lois and Clark, she was in Tomorrow Never Dies.
Yeah, that's right. She was a Bond girl.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Terry Hatcher had a really kind of interesting early career. You know, I mean, I haven't seen her do a whole lot lately. She was on Supergirl. She played the Queen of Dexam, which was kind of a cool kind of thing.
Oh, I didn't realize that. She's actually in the pilot of Seinfeld, along with one other episode in the first season, and then she's also in the finale.
Yeah, she was the one whose boobs were like so amazing that
they didn't believe they were. They couldn't.
They didn't believe they were real.
Yeah,
and then what's
Elaine?
Elaine like faked tripping and falling into her to grab her.
in the sauna or something like that.
Yeah, in the sauna. Yeah, Terry Hatcher, man. I remember a friend of mine, actually a former girlfriend, showing me an episode of MacGyver that Terry Hatcher. She had a recurring character on MacGyver, and
I didn't know she was on. I didn't know she was on Supergirl.
Yeah, she played more recently. She played the Queen of Daxam. I
haven't watched enough of Supergirl. She was also Ella Lane on Smallville, which is kind of funny.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I like that legacy casting stuff.
Yes,
that's been fun.
Anyway, sidetrack.
We have diverged dramatically.
Yeah, from Gilbert Gottfried to Terry Hatcher.
Yeah. So it is sad. It's sad to see one of the more iconic comedy voices of the 80s and 90s go. You know, he was 67.
Yep.
And so we raised a drink to old Gilbert Gottfried.
Yep.
You know, actually, Gilbert Gottfried actually did some voices, some comic book voices too. He did the voice of Mxyzptlk on the Superman cartoon, The Adventures of Superman. And then
is that how you say it? I always said Mxyzptlk.
Well, it's been debated. Mxyzptlk was the way it was pronounced when we were kids, and then later on it was kind of adjusted to Mxyzptlk, and there's a bunch of different debates.
It'll always be Mxyzptlk to me, man.
I always said Mxyzptlk, and initially, but so yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Unfortunately.
So one of the things I know you haven't caught up. You're not caught up on it yet, but
no.
The Stranger Things season 4 trailer has dropped, and it's a 3.5 to 4 minute trailer, I think.
About 3.5 minutes, yeah.
Holy fucking shit! I can't wait for this show. I really enjoy Stranger Things. I've enjoyed every one of the seasons. I thought they've all been really good, and there is a nostalgia factor for me because it's still set in the 80s and all that. But
right,
this particular one, holy shit, it looks cool. Yeah, and it looks like it's really going back to the horror from the first season.
Yeah. They're
going to go back to the Upside Down and all of that stuff.
It almost looks like, you're going to encounter like the like the boss, basically.
Yeah,
like the
that's what it looks like. It looks like this is them finishing it up. Yeah. I have a feeling this is the last season.
I think they'll be done after season 4.
I think this is going to be the last season of it, and I think if they do it well, I think that's a good ending point.
Yeah, well, and it's wild just that we've watched these kids like
grow up. Yeah,
you know, pretty. I mean, that's always the case when you're watching like a long-term TV show that's got kids in it. I mean, the same thing happened with Game of Thrones. We watched those kids grow up, but
have a great one, Ghost Hand. Totally understand you checking out, man.
Yeah, thanks for stopping.
Thanks for even stopping by. Sorry.
Go
ahead.
Have a drink, buddy.
Yeah.
But yeah, just watching. I mean, we've had longer periods of time between seasons. And with this show too,
it's a lot like watching the Harry Potter movies, sure. and watching those kids grow up.
Oh yeah.
But yes, there has been time between the seasons, and there's not necessarily as much time in the show between seasons. But yeah, we're seeing these kids grow up, and they're all amazing actors.
Yeah, absolutely.
The girl that plays Seven and she's also Enola Holmes, which the second one of those movies is coming out. That trailer is also out.
Yeah.
So yes, I think she has a long successful career ahead of her. My concern is that you see so many child actors that get so fucked up.
Oh yeah.
In their childhood because of this, and I'm hoping that doesn't happen to a lot of these kids, because I want to see them go on to have long careers, because I enjoy their work. The one of the main kids from Stranger Things was just in the last Ghostbusters.
Finn Wolfhard. Yeah.
Yes. So I mean, him and I'm blanking on her name. The girl that plays
Millie Bobby Brown.
Yes. Both of them, I think, are going to have huge careers.
Yeah, I mean, I was seeing an article, like, apparently Millie Bobby Brown was saying that, I mean, the problem, the unfortunate thing with her is that she was getting some really inappropriate shit was being said to her, both online and I mean, they were highly sexualizing her before she was even, like 15. I mean, they were like, there was a lot of, and she like almost completely walked away from everything, and particularly took herself out of like Instagram and Facebook and stuff because of all of the gross attention she was getting as a teenager. And I'm like, and she said that now that she's 18, the article, I didn't read the article, I just saw the headline, but it was something to the effect of people treat her very differently now that she's 18. And I wouldn't be surprised. There's a lot of like, now that she's finally 18, now it's okay to hit on her. Oh, gross. I mean, it's like, what the fuck, man? We got to get away from this sexualization of like teenage girls and teenagers in general, but particularly it's way worse for teenage girls. Like, I remember like, just when I worked at 20 years ago, I remember working at actually more like 25 years ago, working at a Halloween store, and just looking at how they shot the teenage girls in these Halloween costumes, or just how skimpy they were, how sexualized these pictures were of these teenage girls, and or preteen girls too. It was really fucking weird and gross. And I felt sad for this girl, this very talented young woman, very talented, this very talented child who has an entirely huge, incredible career ahead of her. And she's facing the disgusting, just the grossness of the internet. And it's she had a tough time.
That was one of the problems that Amber Benson had with being on Buffy. That's why she actually stepped away and wanted actually asked to be written out of the show.
Amber Benson?
Yeah, because because of the attention that she was getting from being on that show, she couldn't handle it and didn't like it.
But she was an adult though too.
She was
at that point.
She was, but still, it's not just for the kids. It's the way that even adults are treated, and sexualized.
Yeah. But like I said, I mean, there's a difference between adults and teenagers or
There
children.
is, but it doesn't make it right.
No, of course not. It just makes it worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I mean, and there's a difference between looking at it at a teenage girl and saying, "Wow, she's beautiful," or she's when she gets older, she's going to be this a beautiful woman. There's a difference between seeing that and then and some of the really inappropriate, gross things that people.
Well,
I mean, even just like asking her, "So do you have a boyfriend?" I mean, like, what the fuck? That's like how many times like this poor young woman was asked before, like I said, before she was 18, if in by some kind of interviewer whether she had a boyfriend or not. I mean, that's none of their goddamn business.
Mm-hmm.
You want to ask about the show, fine. You want to ask about her process or how she learned, fine. Just you don't need to know her personal shit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the other problem too. Is like too many people are just getting too invested in all the little things about these actors. And so, once again, it's one thing when they're an adult. It's not as much as I don't like it. The paparazzi and they are adults. They can defend themselves. They're fair game. Kids can't. They don't have any defense against that shit.
Yep.
So I don't know. I am looking forward to Stranger Things season 4. I haven't watched season 3 yet. It's been on my radar and on my list and stuff for quite a while.
It's different because it takes place during summer vacation instead of at Halloween.
Right. Yeah, they're not in school. Season 1 and 2 was amazing. I guess I just never got around to sitting down and watching season 3. And I heard things too. Yeah.
It wasn't my favorite of the seasons, but it was good. And it looks like it's setting up a lot for this season.
Cool. So cool. All right. Well, so speaking of TV shows, I watched the first 2 episodes of Picard, season 2.
I have not. We finished Discovery, though.
Yeah, I finished Discovery as well.
I was a little disappointed. I was disappointed, a little disappointed in the end.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it just seemed kind of anticlimactic. I mean, okay, yeah, they made first contact, they got them to understand, and everything's fine.
They made first contact with a civilization outside of our galaxy.
Right, and that's fine, but I just thought that the whole thing was just kind of anticlimactic. I had been seeing stuff about we see there was a twist in the last episode and we finally see who the real villain is, and you really didn't see that.
Okay. I see what you're saying. I mean, it did feel like they were going to build up to something really immense, and it did seem like
it was like build,
and then it was Booker basically appealing to their having an emotional appeal to them, and
then the whole thing with them. We realized there was something there and saved his thing, and here he is. Fuck you. He should have just been gone.
Well, I did like the fact that they did kind of wrap everything up, though, and so even if they were to end the series,
and again,
at least there was an ending.
So it's not just Michael, but now Booker gets a little for everything he fucking did.
See, now personally, I didn't like that. I mean, I think I know he's getting a bit of a, they're like, all right, well, instead of going to a prison colony, you're gonna, we're gonna send you, which it seems like the Federation doesn't really do that anymore, but instead of being punished, you're going to go and we're going to punish you by making you go and help people that were, hurt by this whole situation. I mean, he is being separated by the woman he loves. He is being separated by his friends on the Discovery, that kind of thing. But it did feel like, dude, you like straight up rebelled. You stole shit, you let off an outlawed, dangerous weapon.
Yeah, you were trying to start a war with a alien race that had technology well beyond anything that
dwarfed their technology thousands, 2,000 years in the future, 1,000 years in our future. Dude, and he got it's like, don't do that again.
Yeah.
Don't do that again. So yeah, I would have, I didn't want to see Booker put to death or anything, but still, it seemed a little, I don't know. I did like the show though. Overall, I think it was one of the better seasons.
I would be fine with them ending it right here. It was definitely set up to where they could wrap the show up right now and be done with it.
I think they did that in case, because it seems to me they're planning on continuing forward, but I think they were in a delay.
I would be perfectly fine with them stopping Discovery.
See, I don't. I'd like to see more. I want to see. They didn't deal enough. We haven't seen enough of what some of the other races are.
CD said he's against torturing tardigrades. Well, so am I, and that's why they've gotten away from that now.
Dude, I tell you though, CD Picard has gotten I've only watched the first 2 episodes of season 2, and it is really fucking good.
Yeah, Renee and I need to start that one, but
did you watch season 1?
Yeah, we watched season 1.
Okay. Now you like
I love season 1.
Season 1 was great. It was really cool. A lot of the Borg stuff, all that other shit was fucking fantastic. Season 2 kind of I was expecting him to be like out on the ship with the rest of the crew doing shit or whatever, but it opens up with him back on his plantation, and I'm like, oh, okay. I'm not gonna say too much because I know
his vineyard, not plantation.
His vineyard, yeah, not plantation, his vineyard, and
Chateau Picard.
Exactly, and they're bringing in the harvest. But it does go into, okay, well, it's obviously been a few months, or maybe half a year, or maybe as much as a year, and everybody's doing their own thing. I think it's probably close to a year. And everybody's, they're still friends, they're still in contact with each other, but they're moving on and doing stuff. And I was like, okay, cool, no, right on. And then we already know that Q sticks his omnipotent nose in and becomes a problem, and it's also very evident too that they end up having to go back in time. So this is very cool. I can't wait. Like I said, I've only watched the first 2 episodes. I'm really excited to see where it's going to go from here. There's some really fun stuff.
Renee.
And then they also announced too, I think we might have talked about this. Oh, that sucks. Hours time blows. He's looking at 16-hour days.
Remember, it's in the future, Renee.
In the future, Renee.
He's got droids for that. Yeah, and CD said you use robots.
Yeah, it's like 300 years from now. But yeah, it was really cool to see Q again. It's really cool. And then they announced too, as well, and they finished filming already. So it's just a matter. Now they're probably doing special effects and working on it. That season 3, I think we talked about this last week a bit. That they are reuniting the Next Generation bridge crew.
Most of it, at least.
Most of it. I would have loved to have seen them bring in Wesley Crusher, but as far as I know, Will Wheaton is not in the. And I would, because he does after the Ready Room after shows. I think he would not have been able to keep his mouth shut. If he's been cast, I think it'd be, at the very least, I would love. I hope he gets a cameo or a
CD said Wesley is with the Traveler.
No, see, because he showed up. Wesley was in a Starfleet uniform at Riker and what's her name?
Deanna,
thank you. Fuck, man. He was in the movie, and I think it was Nemesis. He was at their wedding in a Starfleet uniform. So I think at some point he left the Traveler and whatever. So I don't know. And then so anyway, but they even explain at a certain point, like Picard goes to see Guinan, who's tending a bar, and she's tending a bar in San Francisco, and I think it's number 10 Forward Avenue, so it's 10 Forward, and they explain why she explains why she looks older, even though she's a Lelorian, and the Lelorians, they live for hundreds of years, and she explains why she looks older, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, totally I'm fine with that explanation. Who cares? But it was cool to see Guinan again. She's in the very first episode, so I think you're gonna really enjoy it so far. I know I did. So what else? So yeah, check out Picard, guys. In season 3, we probably won't see the next season though until next year.
Yeah.
So season 3 will be next year.
Well, we are less than a week away from the Batman premiering on HBO Max.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I am too, because I didn't get to see it in the theater. So,
okay.
And I don't see myself going out to the theater to see it between now and then.
Right. See, now I did see it in the theater, and I enjoyed it immensely. It was a great, great movie, and I really want to see it again. Stella had talked about, she even said she wanted to go into the theater and see it again, but we haven't had a chance. And I'm like, well, there's no point now because it's going to be on HBO Max in a week or so. We can be able to watch it then. But dude, it's so good. I'll tell you, I mean, it's interesting that it has really changed the game for movies and movie releases by putting them up on the streaming services so much quicker.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, and I'm seeing that I haven't watched it because I don't want to see it, but I've been seeing online that there's a deleted scene that's been out there with the Joker, actually.
Yes, the Joker deleted scene.
Yeah. And yes, CD said, I'm watching Picard 2 seasons and Lower Decks and canceling Paramount. It is the absolute worst of the services I have done. I cannot argue that. Paramount is horrid. It is the worst streaming service that is out there, and I don't know why.
Which is too bad too, because it's got some great stuff in it.
It does.
It's not the content. It's the fucking app itself.
If the app worked better, I would watch more stuff.
Yeah. Like it's got Yellowstone, which I haven't watched, but I've heard really good things about it.
It's got Evil.
It's got Evil. It's got a bunch of movies are being released to the Paramount app. Specifically, or them itself. I mean, and the funny thing is like, okay, I was watching something on that app the other day. It might have been Discovery. I think I was watching Discovery here, sitting at my computer while I was doing some gaming, and the app was working fine on my computer, but for whatever reason, it just does not, and it seems to work okay on my phone, but from whatever reason, it just does not like my smart TV. It just doesn't.
It doesn't like and like I've said, it doesn't like our Chromecast either.
Yeah. And it's so fucking annoying. And the funny thing is, honestly, too, I'm not running there's no Paramount app for my computer. I'm just running it through the website.
Mm-hmm.
Because you just pull up the website and you run it through that, and it's fine. It's fine. Didn't stutter, didn't stop, didn't have to reload or anything. But for whatever reason, on my
there's the two South Park specials that are on Paramount.
Like I pulled it up. I just pulled it up and it bam right here. So
they got all the South Park stuff on there.
It's got all the CBS stuff, BET, all the Comedy Central stuff. All the.
I would actually like to go back and start watching all of South Park from the beginning again, just because.
Oh man, that seems like that'd be a lot.
It's not like The Simpsons.
Simpsons is 30 years. It's over 30 years. South Park's over 20. It's a lot, man.
It is, but they're also not as long as seasons.
Like the Halo show, that's new. The Halo show,
yes, which I kind of want to see, but because it's on Paramount,
I've heard it's pretty cool. I've heard that it's, but it's sci-fi. It's cool, but it's my housemate watched the first episode. He wasn't overly impressed.
There are 25 seasons of South Park.
Jesus Christ, that's a lot. There's the Star Trek Prodigy show that people are raving about, saying that that's awesome. Oh yeah, they also just we've got a new season of Lower Decks coming up later this summer.
Yep. which I can't wait for that. That is actually one of my favorite Star Trek shows of all time.
I actually heard they actually teased that that the actors that do the voices might be showing up as their live action versions in an episode of Strange New Worlds. But the interesting thing is I mean, Strange New Worlds takes place right, like 10 years before Kirk. Lower Decks takes place during the next,
after Next Generation,
after DS9, like when Riker is a captain and shit.
Yeah.
So, it would be interesting to see how that plays out.
Because that's a lot of time between those.
Yep. Like the new Scream movie is on this. Jackass Forever, Sonic the Hedgehog, A Quiet Place, and that movie Infinite. There's a lot of stuff on this show, or on this thing. They're the remake of The Stand, which I haven't watched yet, but I still heard was really fucking cool. All these fucking great movies and great shows, and it's hard to watch them.
Yeah.
Because of the app.
So just to do this, The Simpsons have 33 seasons.
Right.
South Park has 25.
Yes.
Family Guy has 20.
That's wild, man. I didn't realize that Family Guy had 20.
I didn't either, but I'm looking at it right here, and I'm like, holy shit.
I don't think it was 20 years, though. I think it's actually been longer because it was off the air for a while, and then like the fan response brought it back.
It started. There are 385 episodes of The Family Guy. I need to go watch that because honestly, that's one of those shows that I watched and I didn't watch, and I watched and I didn't watch. I haven't seen all of them, and I absolutely love that show. That show always makes me laugh.
Yeah. It's funny because it is one of those shows too that's like, it's so irreverent.
It is.
Really, it's the kind of show that will really offend people.
It started. The original release was January 31st, 1999.
Wow.
But yeah, it is. It's very irreverent. It pushes that boundary, which I love shows that
pushes the boundary. Pushes it? It breaks it. It stomps on it and then pisses on it. Okay? It doesn't push the boundary.
Yeah, Seth MacFarlane has said that he knows he's got in the express lane going to hell.
Yeah. He goes through the fucking boundary and makes a new boundary and then breaks that boundary and then makes another one and then breaks that one. It's like, yeah.
It's still drawn together.
It's not. Points to you. Absolutely. Christ on a crutch.
That show was so bad that I had trouble watching it. I felt uncomfortable watching that show. Yeah,
for sure. There were definitely. I mean, I bought the DVDs, and there were times even I went, "What the fuck am I watching?" Jesus Christ! I think what I liked about it so much was because it was very meta.
Yeah,
it was like.
It was
making fun of itself and making fun of the medium, and so yeah. I'm just kind of glancing at the app again. Like I said, the Paramount app. I mean, it's got some amazing stuff on it. It really does, but it's also just horribly difficult to watch.
Yeah, Renee and I have made it through the first season of Rick and Morty because CD brought that up. He said, "Are you talking about Rick and Morty now? Talk about no boundaries."
Another one. I love Rick and Morty. Absolutely.
And I think Renee and I have only made it through the first. I think we made it through the first season. And I mean, I've seen like the dragon episode multiple times because my old boss, that was like his favorite episode.
Slat dragon.
Yeah.
Slat dragon.
And that's from like season 3 or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
So, but yeah, I want to get back to Rick and Morty. I really want to get back to Family Guy. I actually started buying the seasons of Family Guy so I could go back and watch a lot of it because I didn't actually come into Family Guy until maybe season 3 or 4. And so a lot of that earlier stuff I kind of missed. I I do have 2 out of the 3 Star Wars specials, I think. I don't think I have all 3 of them. Those were great. I mean, the last one where he honestly just put even in the opening scroll, he's like, I just phoned this in.
Yeah. Some great stuff though.
Speaking of him though, I am looking forward to June when we finally get the Orville.
Yes, yeah. Is it June? Yeah.
I think it's June. It got pushed back to June. Like the beginning of June. So I mean we're only like a month and a half away, but I am so looking forward to that.
I just hope they release it on Blu-ray as well, because I have the first 2 seasons, or DVD. I have the first 2 seasons up there, and I just want to be able to have all of them on,
That's such a great show.
It really is. Brilliant science fiction, brilliant homage to Star Trek. I mean, it's just incredible. I actually have some of the early seasons of Family Guy on. I have 1 through. Dude, I have more than I thought. I have seasons 1 through 11 on.
Oh wow, you have more than me. I think I've only got 1 through 5
of Family Guy. I have all 3 seasons of Drawn Together. Not particularly proud of it, but yeah, I inherited a bunch of from Nip. I inherited Nip Tuck. Remember that show? Dude,
yeah, one of the ones I'm most jealous of is the one I can see right there in the corner is the Greatest American Hero.
Yeah, that was a wedding gift from Tess.
That's an impressive one because I want to go back and actually watch that show again. I would love to watch that show.
It's a great show. Classic
it was.
From the 80s. I remember watching it as a child.
Yep.
Just, like absolutely adoring it.
One of my favorite shows of all time.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of Star Trek, though, to get back to it, on the Paramount app, they just recently released, and they released it, I think, on April 6th, which is First Contact Day. According to Star Trek lore, that was when we met the Vulcans. There is,
which I forgot to mention. That was last Tuesday while we were on our show.
Yeah, it was. They released a new cut of Star Trek: The Motion Pictures, the director's edition. The USS Enterprise proudly soars again in this new, beautifully restored director's edition of the original Star Trek movie classic. This new director's edition features enhanced visual effects and a new sound mix supervised by the legendary director Robert Wise. And then it goes into the description of the movie or of the story. 1979 when they put this movie out, and it was considered, it is considered one of the lesser, one of the inferior movies, because the second one, The Wrath of Khan, is so much.
It's an odd numbered movie. All the odd numbered movies sucked.
I wouldn't say they necessarily all sucked, but they were definitely not as good as the even numbered ones. And particularly as they got later, there was a little less of that.
Really? Final Frontier?
Final Frontier, yeah. I mean, I'm talking more like when you got into the next gen.
Oh, well, yeah, next gen kind of changed that. But I
mean, it's still
with the original cast, 1, 3, and 5 were not good. 2, 4, and 6 were all very good.
Yes. Yeah. No, I agree. But they're saying actually the new cut of the motion, that they fixed it, that it's a lot better.
They fixed it. V'ger.
It's just
it's still got V'ger in it, so
but it's better anyway. And it's 137 minutes, so it's over 2 hours long, so 2 hours 17 minutes. But hopefully maybe they cut some of the long extended kind of like camera shots that they did.
Honestly, I'm looking forward to the new Kelvin timeline Star Trek, because they're going to be doing another one. And that's the one I really enjoy those.
I did enjoy those, but I also look at those as something completely separate.
I do too. I look at it as separate and superior.
I don't know about superior, but
I'm not a fan of the original. So,
of the original
Star Trek.
Oh yeah,
I'm really not a big fan.
You're not a big Trekker, I know.
No.
But a lot of Trek fans, like I said, I enjoyed the Kelvin timeline, but I also look upon it as a separate Star Trek for me. A lot of Trek fans kind of really do consider that like kind of very, it's a J.J. Abrams vision of Star Trek, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's a very, it is a very rock and roll kind of action movie kind of Star Trek. And at Star Trek's base, it wasn't an action movie. It wasn't, action wasn't the basis of Star Trek. Star Trek was supposed to make you think a little bit more before the pew pews happen, and that's that's essentially what the Abrams ones were. It was much more action based, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I think at the very least, and I think we've talked about this before, the Kelvin storyline, the Kelvin movies, and they call it the Kelvin movies, guys, if you aren't familiar, it's because that it's like where the timeline diverged from the original or whatever. But
it was the USS Kelvin, wasn't it, or something like that?
Something like that, yeah. It breathed new life into Star Trek, which it needed a shot in the arm. Back in 2009, when they released the first one, Star Trek hadn't been on television in a couple of years, other than reruns, and it was just, it needed it. And that's exactly what we needed at the time. And if it hadn't been for that, we wouldn't have gotten, for those 2-3 movies, we wouldn't have gotten Discovery and some of these other newer Star Trek shows that are really, really fantastic. So we should move on though. I did find, I'll forward this to you. It's a timeline of Star Trek that kind of like goes through some of the main big plot points and stuff. It's pretty cool, actually. You might want to read it, but it's too much to go into right now.
It's funny. I'm actually looking at, so I looked up Family Guy, or actually South Park, to see how many seasons there were. When I clicked on Family Guy, it said people also search for, and it's Family Guy, Rick and Morty, The Simpsons, American Dad, Futurama, Beavis and Butthead, Bob's Burgers, which I've never watched.
Bob's Burgers is actually really funny. I don't watch it a lot, but every time I have watched it, I've really enjoyed it. It's really
SpongeBob SquarePants, King of the Hill, Robot Chicken, Happy Tree Friends, which I don't know.
Oh, yeah, Happy Tree Friends, sure.
BoJack Horseman, which I've heard really good things about, but I've never watched.
So fucking funny. Also, F is for Family on Netflix, too.
Which one?
Really good. F is for Family.
I started watching that. That's a very 70s show, so I can kind of relate to that.
Takes place in the late 70s.
Yep. Yeah. Drawn Together is on there. And then Big Mouth is one.
Yeah.
Which I started watching that one, and I'm like, oh my God, that's another one that's kind of,
yeah, it's a little cringy because like it takes those teenage puberty moments and magnifies them, and I think things that a lot of us kind of experienced and encountered on some level, but then it just takes it and makes it like gross and makes it even worse. And like when one of the characters has her period for the first time when she's on a fucking field trip, and and the whole puberty monster and God.
Oh, and then Always Sunny is on here.
Well, okay. I mean,
it's the only one that's not animated out of all of these that I can see.
Thing is, I mean, Always Sunny is the only thing that's stopping it from being an animated show is the fact that it's not animated. I mean, those characters are fucking cartoons. It's like, I'm surprised they haven't.
I've never watched it actually.
Oh man, it's ridiculous, and it is really funny, but it's another show I've never watched regularly, but I have every time I have watched it.
And then Ren and Stimpy.
Cool.
Which
see, that's the thing. Over the last 20 some odd years, there's been, or 20 to 30 years, there has been a major, like a renaissance it's like a slow moving, like an iceberg of a renaissance of adult animation. And I think we're finally, over the last 10 years, we've finally gotten to the point where we're really seeing quite a bit of it. And it's being, we're seeing, and it's not all just necessarily comedy too. Now we're starting to see serious shows like Invincible and Legend of Vox Machina and some of these other animated shows that yes, a lot of them are still fall under the genres of science fiction or fantasy, but they're not all necessarily goofy, silly comedies either. Yes, Vox Machina has some comedic stuff too, but Invincible doesn't have any more comedic stuff in it than any other like regular TV show that
No, it doesn't
feature superheroes, you know. So it's, you know, we're seeing this. It's such a refreshing thing too. I'm loving that finally animation is really coming into its
own. CD says Letterkenny sounds like Always Sunny the way that you talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Always Sunny. There's like 15 seasons of that show too. I've never.
It has been on. It was on for a long time, and it's still on. There are 15 seasons actually.
Yeah,
162 episodes.
Right. I've never watched it regularly, but every time I've watched it, I've laughed my ass off. And there's some really powerful episodes too. Always Sunny is a bar where they own, and all they do is drink and scheme. Yeah, but pretty much, that's the basis right there. But there's also some very powerful episodes. I remember Stella showing me an episode of one of the main characters. He did a dance as a way of explaining to his father of his sexuality. And it was like, and it was extremely powerful, extremely moving. And you don't expect that from this goofy comedic show. And it was like, holy shit. And it was very powerful. So Danny DeVito, yeah, he's so ridiculously good on that show. So it's getting later, but I did want to talk about a couple of things, some comic book stuff. So they just finished a big storyline in Marvel Comics called Devil's Reign, and it was basically several years ago, Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, was elected to mayor of New York City, which boggles my mind that a guy who had been long since considered pretty much the boss of bosses in organized crime in New York,
the kingpin of crime,
would be able to be elected to mayor of the, you know, greatest city in the United States, and quote unquote. And so, but then again, when you think about, you know, in this country, Donald Trump got elected president, he decided to declare all vigilantism outlawed. Like, I mean, yes, vigilantism is considered illegal, but in the superhero worlds, you know, it's kind of, it depends on how much of a vigilante you are, apparently. But he basically said that all superheroics are illegal. And so, like, all the superheroes that operate out of New York, the Fantastic Four, most of the Avengers, Spider-Man, were coming under fire, and they had to go into hiding and all these other things. Well, they did just finish off the storyline. And it was, interestingly enough, like, Wilson Fisk got arrested. He was going to be brought up on charges, all these other things for what he had done. And then these rich, like, socialites were basically going, we're going to make it all go away. Don't worry about it. And then we want you to run for president. And Wilson Fisk was like, and at first it looks like he's going to shake their hand and go with it. And he goes and he basically crushes the hand of the guy that offered him the thing. I think he killed him, and then walked out of the room and said, gave the position of Kingpin to his son and said, I'm leaving. I'm out of here. I'm done. And gets on a boat and sails away. And he's like, what the fuck? Basically, the Kingpin of crime has retired. And he's leaving. He's out. And the real cool thing is Luke Cage had decided to run for mayor to oppose Wilson Fisk, and there was nobody else running. So now it's looking like, apparently, according to Marvel Comics, Luke Cage is going to be the new mayor of New York. I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with this storyline. Like, holy shit, a superhero, a well-known superhuman, and is going to be, the mayor of New York City. And honestly, a character that was originally basically designed to be their answer to Shaft, Marvel's superheroic Shaft.
Yep.
You know, he was created at that time in when everybody was watching blaxploitation films. and he was their answer to Shaft. So I'm just like, that's really, really fucking cool. I'm Jessica Jones will be the first lady mayor, or not lady mayor, but the first lady of New York, the mayor's wife. I'm like, holy shit, really fucking wild. So it says they promise incredible plans for Luke and will be revealed in the coming.
Who are you talking about?
Sweet Christmas. So that should be interesting. Also, Daredevil and Elektra have come out of the whole storyline with a new save the world kind of attitude. Elektra is wearing a variation on a kind of a combination of her costume and Daredevil's costume. So they're basically both Daredevil. She and Matt Murdock are both Daredevil, essentially. It's actually pretty cool. Her costume. Yeah, her costume's pretty cool. It's
fine that it's cool, but you can't both be Daredevil. Come on.
Well, I mean, there's 2 Captain Americas. There's 2 Spider-Men. There was 3 for a little while there.
Well, yeah, I watched No Way Home too.
In the comic books, though, there was Spider-Man, there was his clone Ben Reilly, and then there was also Miles Morales. So, yeah, I don't know. It should be kind of interesting. I haven't read this miniseries yet. It's kind of in the back of my box. And I've got a bunch of other things to read before I get to this, but it does look like they're setting up some interesting stuff coming up in the Marvel Comics kind of universe for a while. There was something else I was going to mention, and I watched the first episode of Our Flag Means Death.
Oh, yeah.
On HBO Max.
We've watched 4 episodes so far. Yeah, we watched 4 episodes so far.
Fuck, it's so funny.
See, I didn't think the first episode was all that great.
Oh, I can see it, man. I'll admit.
I don't think it got funny until about the 3rd episode.
And you and several other people have said it builds. It builds. But I know Taika Waititi's work. I know the people in this, some of the actors that are in this show, and I'm like, oh no, this is going to be fucking amazing. You
don't see Taika Waititi until the 3rd episode, so.
Right. Yeah, Blackbeard.
Yeah.
You got Christian Nairn on the show who played Hodor.
Mm-hmm.
One of the guys who were Train Spotting, I can't remember his name, but he's the Scottish guy with a really thick Scottish accent. I mean, and Rhys Darby is hilarious. The whole idea that he was like this prissy, rich, aristocrat that just decided, you know what? I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna get a boat, and I'm gonna go out into the water, and we're gonna have
just wait. You get
gentlemen
more
pirates.
You get more on that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, that's fucking brilliant. I've talked about this before. How fucking difficult it is to watch. There's so much good shit. There's so much good shit to watch. Don't have the fucking time to watch it. It's driving me.
Well, and you got Matthew Mayer too, who I've seen in tons of things.
Who's he?
He's Black Pete.
Oh yeah, mm-hmm.
The bald guy.
The bald guy.
Yeah. He's in Dogma. He's the bartender that's talking with him at the one point. He's always got that voice like.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I guess he's in Captain Marvel. I didn't realize. I don't even think I realized he was in that. He's Norix.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean that's what I know him from is from mostly from Dogma. I knew I recognized him from something. I had to just look it up. Oh, he was in the Clerks TV series.
Really?
Yeah.
The animated series?
Yeah, the animated series. Him as the bartender in Dogma was his first role.
Wow. Okay. Huh. Interesting. Wow. It's funny how you get these.
He's in Vulgar the Clown. Well, Vulgar.
Is he in? Oh, okay. It's just you get these,
which I've never seen.
No, I've never seen it either. It's funny, like I said, you get these faces that you go, oh, hey, I recognize that guy, and he's been in this, and he's been in that, and he's like these character actors and stuff,
He's definitely a friend of Kevin Smith's because he's also in Jersey Girl. as a delivery guy.
There was we were watching The Sopranos, and there was a character, a guy came on and played a character, and I'm like, oh man, that's Chris Diamopoulos. He's been in this. He was in all. He's da 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 da. He was in,
Well, yeah.
Just all kinds of different things. And Stella's like, I don't care.
Well, we were just watching The Rookie, and in the last episode, they go to this prison to interview this guy, and he comes out, and I'm like, oh, that's. And it took me a while to figure out who it was, and it's Gablehauser, Dr. Gablehauser from Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, from Big Bang Theory, sure. I remember that too. Yeah. And then,
but he's got like this full beard and he's all gray and stuff. And
there was another episode. There was that reoccurring criminal that they had worked with a number of times, and he was in The Wedding Singer. He was Julia's boyfriend, douchebag boyfriend in The Wedding Singer. He's done a bunch of other things since then. But I was like, oh my god, yeah, that's like.
Well, even in The Rookie, the one serial killer chick. She's from Runaways, and
and she was on. She's playing the Borg Queen. Yeah, she's the Borg Queen on Picard.
Oh, is she?
And a couple other things. She's played the Borg. I think she played the Borg Queen on Voyager at the end of Voyager 2 or something. Because I think Alice Krige didn't come back to play or something like that. It was one of those. Maybe no. Yeah, it was. She played the Borg Queen in the previous season of Picard, and she's doing it again in this season. So, in the first season of Picard. So yeah, it's just funny. I never forget a face. So, I'll see these faces, and I'm like, and even 20 years or 30 years later or whatever, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so and so. Apparently, I think Andrew Dice Clay is in an episode of MASH in the very beginning of his career.
Huh.
Yeah, and I believe so is John Ritter too. I can't remember for sure. But,
well, that's the thing. I see people in shows, and I'm like, why do I know them? And even Renee, a lot of times we're sitting there watching a show, and she's like, why do I know who that is? And I'll have to look it up and say, oh, it's so and so, and we're like, yeah, that's who it is.
It's so weird how that, and it sticks with you too after a while. These various different, there's a great documentary about it's called I think it's you're the guy from That Thing, and it's all about these guys that are these very recognizable character actors that have done tons of stuff, and you see them in all kinds of things, but you never know who they are. You can't remember their name. You've seen them in dozens of things.
And that's the thing. There have been some I'm like, I know that guy. And I go and look and I'm like, oh, it's because he was on Elementary and, Castle and Medium and Ghost Whisperer and Mentalist and Criminal Minds and NCIS. And, it was all these shows that I watched. He was on one episode on every single show that I watched.
Right. Yeah. Okay, yeah. You know what? I just looked up Dice Clay here. Let's look at yeah. He was his second listing, 1982, MASH, Corporal Herbosky. It's Andrew Clay. He was on an episode of Different Strokes. He was Crazy Larry in 2 different episodes. Holy shit. Making the Grade, Night, but he's done a bunch of movies, Private Resort, Pretty in Pink. That's right. He's the bouncer in Pretty in Pink.
That's right. Yep.
Amazon Women on the Moon. He's in Casual, the movie.
Oh my God, Amazon Women on the Moon.
Amazon Women on the Moon. Yeah, dude. Crime Story.
I actually play tested a role-playing game at one of the gaming conventions that was Amazon Women from Beyond Infinity.
Okay.
It was actually fun. We actually randomly rolled up to see what kind of character we played, and I was a high school cheerleader, and I wound up blowing up the gymnasium. Very Buffy-esque. It was very Buffy-esque because the army was there giving like a speech thing, and it was a lot of like Army intelligence was there and stuff, and so I actually grabbed one of the rocket launchers and fired it at this alien creature, and it just happened to be actually have a live rocket in it.
All right.
Because it fit it because he rolled the guy rolled and he's like, "Yep, it's got a live rocket."
Oh man. So but yeah,
it was a wild game.
I'm looking at
but my name should be in the credits if it ever came out.
Yeah, well, if you got playtest, original playtest. But yeah, I'm looking at some of these other Dice Clay's things. They tried to give him his own series for a while called Bless This House. I remember that in '95. Hits, Rugrats, The Good he's done he did a bunch of movies, Little Things, One Night at Cool's. He was on Entourage. But apparently he's had a bunch of stuff more recently where he keeps, I guess he's keeping current. Gravesend, Happen Letter. He had a role in A Star Is Born, the remake of A Star Is Born. So,
CD just said Rugrats. Wow, I'm old.
Yeah, no shit. Let's see. One other thing I kind of wanted to touch on real quick before we go. It's getting kind of late, but Skyrim VR reaches a new milestone. You can realistically pet the dog. And it also lets you slap around NPCs. It's some sort of... Oh, yeah. All Skyrim mods are now obsolete. It says, all Skyrim mods are now obsolete. As a new one for the VR version of the game, it lets you pet dogs with realistic animations. The Plank physical animation and character kinetics mod from Nexus Mods using Flying Particle essentially makes it so that your interactions with NPCs look more believable. It does so by changing character animations to make any given NPC's ragdoll physically present at all times. The good folks over on Reddit are thoroughly amused by how you can slap around NPCs now, but there's a far more wholesome and important, frankly, application for their particular mod, realistic dog petting. As demonstrated by Kangar on YouTube, you can now bend down and pet dogs in Skyrim VR, and their shaggy little heads actually move around with the weight of your hand. Before, if you're really desperate to pet a dog, you could move your hand around the general area of the dog's head, but the dog would just sit there like, what are you doing? Now with the Plank, they'll actually react to your petting like the loving little blessing dogs really are.
Renee just gave us the hard eyes for that one.
As mentioned earlier, the mod also makes NPCs react appropriately to a slap, and it'll make them hold still if you grab them. But who has time for that when there are dogs to realistically pet?
I don't know. There've been a couple NPCs in Skyrim that I would love to slap.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like the douchebag that runs like the general store in Whiterun. Just the way he sounds.
Oh yeah.
You're just like, what does he say? Is some people call these trash. I call them treasures. You're like, fuck off. I'd sell my sister if I, fuck you. Just bam. I just want to smack. I did find a mod too.
Oh, that's worth 300 gold. I'll give you 50.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's a mod too, or there's a thing I saw like a video thing. There's Isolde is one of the women in Whiterun there at the beginning. That if you talk to her, she talks about how she wants to take over the pub there, the inn or whatever. And she's talked to the owner of the inn that maybe someday she'll be able to take over. But apparently if you assassinate the owner of the pub, Isolde, the body will be on the ground and Isolde will come in and basically take over. Like steps over the body, says something like, "Oh, what happened?" And then basically then stands at the counter and you can interact with her like she just took over the fucking pub.
I want a room for the night. It's yours for 10 gold. Here you go.
Now it wouldn't work on my game because I've taken Isolde as a wife. So, but yeah, it's just kind of funny. So Skyrim, they're still figuring out ways to.
I actually haven't played Skyrim in like 2 months now.
I don't know how you can stand it.
I don't have time, dude. I have other things. I have other hobbies.
You You have a role-playing game that you have to prepare for.
Yeah, I do. I got to figure out how I'm going to keep from killing everyone so that. Although it's funny is Bob keeps talking to me about how he's like, I know where their mansion is now. So he goes, he's like, I got a mansion. He's like, I'm getting out of this.
Yeah, he knows where our mansion is, so he can go back. It's not funny. Well, there's always, there's always things the dungeon master can do.
Like I said, he's going to go back to Phandalin and get a new group that's going to then go and avenge the.
Right. You're going to find Merrick Harris's his best friend who was, wants to avenge him.
I don't know. You could just start playing Miranda.
I could start playing Miranda. I don't usually play female characters. That would be hilarious.
Party 2.0, the twins.
So go back, and then we have to, and then collect the bodies, and then spend $50,000 to have them all resurrected. Yeah, great, fantastic, grand. Well, I don't know. I think that should about do it. What do you think?
I think we did pretty good.
This horse into the ground.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know exactly how long we were actually going. It's probably about an hour and a half. So
yeah, we stopped about 10. We started about 10 minutes late because of the things.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there's one other thing too. So Fantastic Beasts 3 opened in Europe the last weekend. It's opening, I believe, this coming weekend here in the States. Now, I am.
The Secrets of Dumbledore?
Yeah, I'm excited. I haven't been enjoying these movies. But unfortunately, they have said there have been, due to scandal, these movies have been damaged. There are a lot of people that feel these movies have been damaged. Now, they're planning on 5 of them. They're writing and planning on 5 of them. The third one, I think the first one, a lot of people felt was pretty good did pretty well out the gate. And then the second one they felt was a bit of a letdown. Personally, I still enjoyed them a great deal.
I'm actually rewatching them right now because of The Secrets of Dumbledore coming out.
Right.
Because it's been so long since I've seen them. And I watched the first one, and honestly, it's an enjoyable movie. Mm-hmm. The second one, I'm still watching. I'm still in the middle of it. I watch it here and there when I have some time. Like I've been watching it on my lunch hours and stuff. But it's definitely not as good, I don't think. It's got a very different feel to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I liked how it expanded upon the lore, because I always wondered, the Harry Potter movies and books always centered so much on Europe, specifically England, that I always wondered, well, what's the rest of the world like?
Well,
what's the magic communities like in the rest of the world? So that was one of the things I really enjoyed about particularly the first movie, is that we got to see what magic was like in America. And granted, it's 40, it's in the 20s, but still.
Yeah, my problem with the second one is the people apparating onto Hogwarts grounds.
Sure.
That I had a problem with.
There was a lot of people, but then people also talked about the fact that depended, that they didn't actually apparate in the grounds. They apparated on the bridge.
I think that's splitting hairs. That's still the grounds of Hogwarts.
I would say too, yeah, but still. And then there's also the idea that the headmaster is the one that defines those rules. So if the headmaster says people can apparate on the grounds, then that's fine. Maybe some of those rules didn't go into a play until later on.
And I want to say I looked something about that up, and it came out that no, you have never been able to apparate onto Hogwarts grounds. But I may have mistaken. So
okay, I don't know for sure, but I am looking forward to the third movie. They're saying Mads Mikkelsen is fantastic as the new Grindelwald. But yeah, one of the things that hurt it was the fact that Johnny Depp essentially got fired from the movies because of all the drama that he's dealing with his divorce and the court case, the criminal, you know, the civil case and everything that he is going through. And then of course all of the stuff that J.K. Rowling has, you know, decided, the hill she's decided to die on about her, you know, anti-transgender agenda. So me personally, and there are a lot of people like, well, don't go and see the new movie because that's just going to put money in her pocket. She's not the only one that benefits from that movie. Thousands of people went into the making of that, you know, worked to make those movies. Hundreds at the very least. And so I shouldn't, they should be punished because of what J.K. Rowling said. I don't know, man.
It's that people don't want her to make any money off of it, off of this. And
no, she will make some.
Yeah, and I understand that.
I agree. I understand that too. I mean, they're also saying the same thing about the new Harry Potter video game too, that's coming up. That people shouldn't get into that video game because it just, you know, it gets more money towards J.K. Rowling. But I'm still like, I'm like, J.K. maybe she might have been the creator of the world, but hundreds of people went into the working of these movies and video games. They should suffer because now, granted, they've already been paid. It's not like they're going to benefit from the sales of the movie. They've already been paid. But if these movies end, that's a job that people aren't going to have. You know, if that video game tanks, that's a video game company that could potentially go under, or, you know, that's a gig that's not going to be available. So I don't know. I try and do my best to separate the art from the artist sometimes, and this is one of those situations where I'm very much trying to do that. Also because I also do really like the Harry Potter setting and would like to see more things done with it. So we'll see. I just wanted to kind of touch on that a little bit before we left. You know, tell us what you think, guys. If you guys, I mean, any of our listeners, you know, chime in on the Facebook page. Let us know what you think. I mean, should J.K. Rowling be canceled because of her opinions on transgender, you know, rights and the whole transgender movement? Is her opinions even valid? I mean, what do you have to say about it? Because I would love to hear what people have to say.
Oh yeah, so the source of Pottermore, I just found it. Says that some rode broomsticks, a difficult feat when carrying trunks or pets. Others commandeered enchanted carts and later carriages. Some attempted to apparate, often with disastrous effects, as the castle and grounds have always been protected with anti-apparition charms.
Oh, okay.
Others rode a variety of magical creatures. There's a lot of talk, though, that the bridge may not count as the grounds. It may be the entryway. Mm-hmm. So you can apparate to the bridge and then walk in.
Right. And that's what they did.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I'm excited to see how they're going to continue on with these stories. I like the characters in the movies.
I like that we got to meet Nicholas Flamel.
Yeah, that was fun. I really like all the people playing the roles, the young Dumbledore and you know, I mean, even the Muggle that's being played by Dan Fogel. He's great, you know. So
yeah, I've liked him in pretty much everything. I liked him on the Goldbergs. I liked him in Fanboys.
Yep, he was in Good Luck Chuck. He was really funny in that.
Yep.
Yeah, the guy's pretty funny. He's in that new movie The Offer, which is on Paramount Plus. Which is all about the making of The Godfather. It's a docudrama about how they made The Godfather and the troubles that they had to they went through to make it. I haven't watched it yet, but it just came up. So anyways, yeah, we should sign off. I gotta get going. I gotta get something to eat. I'm starving.
Okay.
I gotta eat more pizza. Guys, thanks for joining us.
I had pizza for lunch today.
Night. It's pizza night. Thanks for joining us tonight, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in all the places you can find quality podcasting. I'm going to keep saying these over and over again until I get them right. We're on the Google Play Store. We are on iTunes. We're on Spotify. We're on Stitcher. We're on the Odyssey app. We are on iHeartRadio, right?
Yep.
There's that. Yeah. iHeartRadio. I think that was it, right? That was 6.
Samsung.
And Samsung. That's the newer one that I keep forgetting.
Yep.
Guys, we are here every Tuesday night at 8:00, roughly, depending on if we have technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Chris puts the episode here on Twitch. Chris puts the episode up on YouTube a couple of days later because he's the tech guy. I'm just the pretty face.
Yeah, and I usually try and get the episodes out on Thursdays. That may get pushed back until Thursday evenings, or because it used to be Thursday mornings, and now with my work schedule and everything like that, I don't. Well, tomorrow I can probably work on it and get it out Thursday morning, but it may wind up being more like Thursday evening or Friday morning, depending on when I have time to work on it.
Yeah. CD was right. The original Harry Potter brand hasn't been damaged as much, but this new one has. That's true.
Yeah.
And I think people still, there's still some people that are like, rethinking Harry Potter and stuff and like that too. They also talked about the Harry Potter video game and about how the goblins are depicted as a negative Jewish stereotype and all these other things. And I'm just like,
I think people are reading a lot of things into things too.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, I agree. So anyways, I don't want to get into
people are going to see things they want to see.
Exactly.
In things. If they're looking for something, they're going to find it.
Oh yeah, for sure. So anyways, but thanks for joining us, guys. We got D&D on Friday night.
Yep.
Swing in on Friday
7:30.
At 7:30 and see us possibly get cooked with electrical power by a
and remember, you can follow us on most of the social medias. We're on Facebook, Nerds with Alcohol Show. We are on Twitter at Drinking Nerds, Instagram Drinking Nerds, and then we're also on YouTube Drinking Nerds. So yeah, I think on that note, until next time, Slancha. That was okay.
That was pretty good. We were red, you and me.
Yeah. You and me. All right. Have a good week, everybody.
Good night.